Hey there, Stephanie Joy with all things Social Security and the law practice of Joy Disability. Here's a short little segment from our recent live stream Q&A that we have every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube channel, All Things Social Security. Enjoy, and if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments and I will be sure to get to them. Thanks so much. Bye-bye now. Hey, how are we doing today? People are just starting to pop in. I hope everyone's doing great. Hope you had a great week. It's only Wednesday, but half the week anyway. For most people anyway. Everything is good on this end. Busy, busy, busy as always. Hey, Joel's in the house. Joe L. Sorry, remember we had that question a few weeks ago. 59 years young, medically retired in January. Filed for SSDI in March of 2026. My application is still on step 1 at SSA online portal saying application is incomplete. Oh my God, we hear this all the time, even with our people. Has not changed in 1.5 months. Normal. In an office that is having troubles keeping up with applications right now. So it's inexcusable. You know, those are the kind of instances where I say call. If you have an attorney, ask them first, of course. You can call and be like, hey, I know you got my application. It says incomplete. I'd like to know, because it says incomplete. And that could just mean they haven't done something because it's in queue waiting for someone to be able to work on it. I have those cases and it is infuriating, Joe. We just contacted the congressman the other day because the lady should not have to wait any further. Get your shit together. And that's shit with a CH, guys, because I'm not cursing. Did I tell you that I am on a challenge not to curse? I didn't really do it on here anyway. Use euphemisms. My daughter has done it, so I thought, all right, I'm going to. I screw up all the time, and then I go, oops. I do try, and it's amazing when you try that you really can do it. And I know my husband will say, but why would you even want to? It's a stress reliever. It means you're smarter. And I'm like, I get it, but you know, I can have other ways of perhaps relieving stress, like that physical therapy I'm going to 3 times a week. It's killing me. It's good. It is extremely arduous. I have to wait to walk out to my car because I'm very wobbly. Today was leg day. Second leg day every week. You know, one of the 3 days is leg day. One of the days is, and the other ones you're using your legs too, but that's not the focus. I had a real hard time. The first week I was like this old person in the world. What the next day? This week was a little better. So I'm like, oh, see, that's progress. It's cool. There's a lot of 50-somethings in there. And 40s, but I mean, it's expensive. Although, you know what I thought about, guys? I know a lot of people are like, I can't go to PT anymore because the copays. Some people are paying like $45, $50 copays. That's a lot. You know, if you're supposed to go twice a week. This is less than that because it's semi-private. There's 4 to a group. Yeah. So it's way less than that. So it's expensive on a monthly basis. Sign up for a year. I really committed. I pay by the month. You could have paid for the whole year and saved even more money. I was like, you know, I'll just have to put on a credit card and I really don't want the debt. I'm trying to be debt-free. Except for mortgage, and I just had to get into debt with a car. Anywho, okay, yeah, I would feel comfortable, Joe, calling probably by the 1 month mark even for something like that. Once it gets to the DDS, if you're sitting around, that takes time to get an adjudicator assigned to you and stuff. I would probably go 2 months. I know that sounds pathetic, but that's just the way it is. And reasonable minds can definitely differ on that. So that's just my general, more laid back kind of. I don't like to try to poke the bears too much if we're going to need their help later. So I try to balance that a little bit. And then when I do have to do it because it's been excessive, I'm kind of like a big mama bear in my letters. Respectful, but you know, a little firm and direct. Dolphin says, I think a bathroom break would be fine. Just post it on the screen. I don't know how to do that. Maybe I could do it on the, with this scroll. See, I don't know. You see this scrolling thing on the bottom? Go to joydisability.com for free. With that, because I can change that. I know how to do that. Can you believe I know how to do that? Someone didn't do it the last time I did it. What would that still be scrolling when there's commercials? To whatever you want to call them. Commercials, right? I would think they're going to have something up there. Does anybody know? Do you guys ever see this elsewhere? Happy Clayton says bathroom break sounds like a good idea. Oh, look at all that positive feedback. I need to hear from the negative people though, also. I can't imagine it would be universal. Happy says, on the SSA site, is the amount listed on the Social Security site usually the correct amount or close to it? Is this your benefits letter, Kathy? Or is this your earnings statement with the estimate and you have not prevailed in an application yet? And presumably you haven't filed either because they won't show you an estimate once you've filed. So where are you at? I could probably better answer that. Civil, I didn't know that. Okay. What didn't you know? He says, is the amount for disability listed on the SSA website usually the correct? I think you're talking about when you're in your own account. And again, I got to know what document you're looking at. If you have not prevailed and you have not filed, then you can see your estimated amount if you were to be disabled today. So they haven't found you. Or and your retirement estimated amounts for like 62, 66, all those ages. If you're talking about a benefits verification letter, that would mean you're already collecting, right? I'm not really sure where you're at. Hey, L Rule's in the house. Hey, back to you, L Rule, or I Rule. Oops, that's I Rule. I've been saying L Rule for the last week or two, right? I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot, I am. Sorry. Jen Me says, yes, next Thursday. Thank you for the hearing. Thank you for working that out with me. Thank you for your patience trying to, connect the dots. I was trying to see if I was missing anything. The date, okay, onset date 6/30/19, and you picked that because prior to that was SGA, right? No SGA past November 19th of 2019, I mean. Last minute gig work, full time, 6+ months work since 14. Okay. And when's your DLI? That's going to tell you what that other question of like, what jobs are they going to consider of mine? Do you have a remote DLI? So then you go 5 years before that will be the one that they're going to look at. Yeah, I'm definitely a little rosy, huh? That's the heat. So it's not flushing for hormonal reasons there, Sybil. It's because it's warm. Yeah. So no full time since 2014, but you worked SGA on and off, with the last time being in 2019 on I guess, at least a sustained basis. So it couldn't be a failed work attempt. And that's what you're dealing with, right? Christina Villarreal says, she's got a great name, doesn't she? Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. You are always so nice to me, Christina. Cecil says, sorry about that autocorrect. If I help them get a permit and they get a review of their case, they have They have DAC now, Cecil? What all is required to prove they are still disabled? Oh, okay. So if they get a review of their case, which they're young, they invariably will, then there'll be the question about does the person drive? And that'll be a new answer, unless it's like a short form or something. What I would do if I was going to be super careful is, even if he keeps a journal about every drive he takes. You said there's always going to be in a car, like, does he even say I can't drive except back roads and a chaperone? Or is he saying I could do back roads myself without a chaperone, but anything in this, the bigger streets, I can't? I think it makes a difference, because if it's something where the driving is such a big deal that he needs a chaperone every time, and I could definitely see that being something that could happen. What if he documents or maybe tells his therapist, yeah, he has ongoing therapy, right? You're gonna have to have, continuing records of some kind. And it could be like, that is permit, still not able to drive alone, still not, every time he keeps feeding that, still unable to drive alone. Now 3 years, still unable to drive alone, needs a chaperone due to panic, is still doing the back roads, the short distances. Like, if that was something that's recurring, I think that could almost strengthen the case. He tried, he's trying. I mean, that's really good. And then he's showing that anxiety is still so bad, he needs to have a chaperone. He needs to have somebody with him to help navigate if the panic starts to come, or to take over the wheel, because it will invariably come. And it could be, gets very nervous on more than one lane in each direction. Very traffic lights potentially cause panic or confusion, or can't make the decision on when to, because you ever see those traffic lights with woo, all these, and some are going, but you got to wait, but then if you're going right, you can go, and if you're left, you can go. They are pretty complicated. So I could definitely see someone with, a different way of absorbing that information, that's not the same, having great difficulties with that. And I think there's a way to just keep it documented. Still not able to do traffic lights. Gonna try to work on a simple, the plan over the next year is to try to work on a single traffic light in a country road. You know what I mean? To build that capacity, So I think there's ways of keeping that documented. And particularly if the chaperone maybe keeps it running, they say both. He keeps a diary, the chaperone keeps a journal. You know what I mean? That's something that would be used later. He's still not driving independently and or frequently and or long distance. All of it. It's very limited. It's very structured. It's very laid out. You can't just hop in the car and go. I don't know. That's the way my mind is starting to go on that one. Cecil says, from what I was told, it only took one meeting with a therapist for them to put them on disability. The government didn't dispute. Ooh, wow. Huh. Was that way back when he was 18? Or he's on SSI, right? Or then it switched to DAC, or by the time he filed, it was already DAC available. Happy Clayton says, made a copy before I filed. Cool. He says, on the SSA site, listed disability amount to become disabled today also shows. Oh, so do you have a case pending, Kathy, or did you already prevail, or you haven't filed yet? If that is the case, that shouldn't even be there unless they changed. And I always wondered why they took that, why they didn't let people see that. It was annoying. once they file. That's I would always say. I mean, even up until like a month ago, and so we still say it. One of the things that people are supposed to do when we're first going to come on board with somebody is, and they haven't filed. Even if they have filed, we say download your Social Security earnings statement. You still want to see the earnings, which are always available on there. But it was the estimate that it even says a thing that says, because you have a pending claim, we can't show you this. And that's where those estimates kind of disappear. And when people want to know, I'm like, get it before we file so you can see that. Everyone says, yeah, I fixed it. You're not the only one. Oh, what did I do? Oh, you're talking about the name? Is that what you're talking about? I think you're in the reconsideration stage and they're letting you see that? That is the first I've heard of that at all. So I'm curious if it changed. Maybe you guys should all go and try to see if you can. Now, what is the document called, Kathy? Is it the earnings statement where those estimates used to lie? Or is there a whole nother page? It's exciting. I mean, I always kind of wondered, like, so what if they have a pending claim? You can still figure it out from today. What's in the earnings record? It's just a math calculation. What is their estimated if they became disabled today? There is no reason why they should be able to, they can have a disclaimer, That's fascinating, though. That's really cool because you're in the reconsideration stage and you're able to visualize that. I don't know if something's changed or they just did a glitch with you. That's interesting. Cash says, my sister who is disabled has been on SSD party. I don't know what the party part is. She just got a letter stating her next check will be $0. Is this because she's turning 65? No. There was no explanation at all. And you said she's on SSD and not SS. Does someone take care of her mail for her? Does she need someone to take care of her mail for her? Because there would have been a letter saying, if it was like, we find that you work too much and we think you're not disabled anymore. If you disagree, let's talk about it. Appeal, whatever. And then if it was SSI, it could be found that you were working or you had, you could have minimal work income, but we have to, pay, you have an overpayment or whatever. But usually then it's not even 100%. But I don't know where that's going at all. She's going to make a phone call. 65 is not when SSD turns to Social Security retirement. It is at full retirement age, which is closer to 67. So there had to be communications before then. Have you been on her online site to view what it says? I would be on the horn with the SSA if I ever got a letter that says your next check is $0. If I was disabled, because there is no you get notice, so you can do what you got to do. Appeal, get your evidence. I didn't work, not that much. The Social Security statement. It probably says the word earnings in that title, does it, Kathy? So that would be the same original document as always. I'm just fascinated that you can get in there and see it. Very cool. I don't know if it's changed though, or if it's just a glitch. Ardade said, hi Ardade, I don't think we've met. Hey, I texted you a week ago and I believe I won my SSDI case pro se. Woo! I have a workers' comp plan coming up after 5 years of waiting. You mean like a possible settlement? How would that affect my SSDI plan? Okay, so quick synopsis on workers' comp potential interplay with SSA, SSD. Shouldn't be SSI. There's something called the 80% rule. I do not practice workers' comp. I never hope to. I always shuffle that off elsewhere. And so I only know the little part about this because I deliberately choose not to learn more. I don't like it. But anyway, something called the 80% rule. If for any given month, if the money's attributable from SSD plus the money's attributable from workers' comp for that month, even if you got it before or after, what month did it? Because remember, both those programs go, month by month. You're not getting paid. Everything you get paid is related to something in a time frame. The weeks for workers' comp and then the month, and the same with SSD by the month. But for whatever Wi-Fi, I'm back. Was I blacked out for you guys? What is it? Is the Wi-Fi having heat stroke because of the heat up here? Pennsylvania is very hot right now. Going back to the workers' comp. So 80% rule. If your amounts that you're receiving from these two programs exceed 80% of your ACE average current earnings, which you can ask the SSD what that number is, I would ask for the full ACE, the full average current earnings, and then ask them for the 80%. Make sure you have both numbers so that you know that when they give you a number, it's not the 80%, or when you think it's 80%, it's not the full amount. Always ask for two. That way you can be sure you know which one is which, and that they gave you the right one because they gave you both. And the smaller one is the 80% one. Anything over that you got from the other two programs in any given month, so it's a month by month calculation, it's like an overage. You're not owed it. It's either going to go back to workers' comp in some way, or it's going to go back to Social Security in some way. So this can be difficult when someone has maybe gotten their workers' comp, then they have SSD. Then, they get their SSD, but now they have to pay back the SSD back benefits. Apply prospectively too. That's how your case is going. I would say try not to spend both until you find out what that workers' comp deal is. Higher income earners are less likely to be impacted by the 80% rule than middle to lower income earners because it's hard for the two programs to ever come close to 80% of what they used to make because it was a high income. Anyway, I hope that helps. You can call and get your ACE for sure. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great one. Be safe.